So hello everyone. Today's topic that we are dealing is the agroclimatic zones of India, where the agroclimatic regional planning in India was initiated in 1988 by the Planning Commission. During 1988 means the seventh 5-year plan. So here this classification is done for whole of the country, and the classification into 15 agroclimatic zones. So this is a very big concept, agroclimatic zone, that this zone is a land unit in terms of major climates that is suitable for a certain range of crops and cultivars. So there were 11 agroclimatic zones, first of all, which were earlier done, or they were classified on the basis of the points or characteristics, agro characteristics, you may say, like water surplus and water deficit. But later on, divided into 15 agroclimatic zones on the basis of water surplus, water deficit, and cropping system. Again, the point arises, who has done it? It is done by the Planning Commission. It is based on the criteria of homogeneity in agro characteristics, that is rainfall, temperature, soil topography, cropping, farming systems, and water resources that are available in that particular zone. This is suggested for the purpose of cropping for the balance area. So one by one, we'll have the names of these agroclimatic zones. First is the Western Himalayan zone. Second, Eastern Himalayan zone. Third, Lower Gangetic Plains zone. Middle Gangetic Plains zone. Upper Gangetic Plains zone. Trans-Gangetic Plains zone. Eastern Plateau and Hills zone. Central Plateau and Hills zone. Western Plateau and Hills zone. Southern Plateau and Hills zone. Eastern or East Coast Plains and Hills. West Coast Plains and Ghats. Gujarat Plains and Hills. Western Dry Zone, and last, Islands Zone. So in this, one more thing I would like to say about the agroecological regions. So zone is a big area, and ecological region is the subpart of that particular area, wherein it is an area of the earth's surface which is characterized by distinct ecological responses to macroclimates expressed by the soils, vegetation, fauna, and aquatic systems. So it is a land unit that you may say it is cut out of agroclimatic region. So the first agroclimatic zone, that is the Western Himalayan zone, that we have out of the 15 agroclimatic zones which have been given by the Planning Commission of India. What are the characteristics of these zones? So basically it consists of 3 distinct subzones of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and UP Hills. Also in recent times, means these are the names of the states in that time period or that time zone of the states. You may have the references of the recent maps, and you can state the names of all those states or study them separately. It consists of the skeletal soils of cold region, the podzolic soils, mountain meadow soils, hilly brown soils. The lands of the region have steep slopes in undulating terrain. Undulating terrain means they are not plain, they are having some ups and downs there. The soils are generally silty loams, and these are prone to erosion hazards. As said earlier, it is having steep slopes, then it is prone to erosion hazards. The annual rainfall is 1650 to 2000 mm, and the crops which are grown here consist of wheat, maize, paddy, and potato. The cropping intensity is lowest here in Jammu and Kashmir and highest in Himachal Pradesh. Then the next zone is the eastern Himalayan region, which consists of Sikkim and Darjeeling Hills, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram, Assam, and the Jalpaiguri and Kuch Bihar districts of West Bengal with high rainfall and high forest cover. There is a shifting cultivation practiced here in one third cultivated area, causing denudation, that is, clearing off and the degradation of soils with the resultant heavy runoff. So, this part is having runoff due to steep slope and denudation caused by shifting cultivation and massive soil erosions and floods in the lower reaches and basins. So this eastern Himalayan zone falls in the eastern part as well as the northeastern part of India. The climate is humid and subhumid with 1840 to 3528 mm of rainfall. The crops which are grown here, they are maize, paddy, jute, rapeseed. The third zone is the lower Gangetic plains zone. It consists of the districts in West Bengal, in lower Gangetic plains region. The soils are mostly alluvial. This area is prone to flood. The crops which are grown in this area like rice, jute, rapeseed, and wheat. The rainfall 1300 to 1600 mm annual rainfall. Then the fourth zone is the middle Gangetic plains zone. This is consisting of the 12 districts of eastern UP and 27 districts of Bihar plains. The geographical area of 16 million hectares, the rainfall is high, and about 39% of the gross cropped area is irrigated, and the cropping intensity is 142%. The main crops in this region are sugarcane, paddy, maize, wheat, and the rainfall amounts to 1211 to 1470 mm. Fifth zone is the upper Gangetic plains zone, which consists of 32 districts of UP. The irrigation is through canals and tubules. Good potential exists for exploitation of groundwater, and the atmosphere, or you may say the climate, is dry subhumid to sub-dry climate with 721 to 979 mm. The major crops are rice, wheat, maize, and sugarcane. Irrigation intensity 131% and cropping intensity is 145%. And this area is having some good milk production and processing units. Then the sixth zone is the Trans-Gangetic plains, which consists of Punjab, Haryana, Union Territories of Delhi and Chandigarh, and Sri Ganganagar district of Rajasthan. This is characterized by highest net sown area, highest irrigated area, high cropping intensity, and high groundwater utilization. The seventh zone is the Eastern Plateau and Hills zone, consisting of eastern part of MP. Now you also have it as Chhattisgarh also, southern part of West Bengal, and most of inland Odisha. Soils are shallow and medium in depth. The topography is undulating, means it is not plain, with a slope of 1 to 10%. The irrigation through tank and tubules is seen in this area. The rainfall is 1271 to 1436 mm. Subhumid to dry subhumid climate is there, and the main crops which are present or cultivated in this region or in this zone are rice, wheat, maize, ragi, and horticulture is also being intensified. Then the eighth zone is the Central Plateau and Hills Zone, which comprises of 46 districts of MP, UP, and Rajasthan, subdivided into 14 subregions having undulating topography. Nearly one third of the land is not available for cultivation. Irrigation intensity and cropping intensity and the rainfall 400, the range is big, 400 to 1550 millimeters annual rainfall. Semi arid to dry subhumid climate is seen here, and the main crops that are cultivated are wheat, gram, jawar, bajra, paddy. Then ninth zone is the Western Plateau and Hills zone. The main regions are the area or the part of Maharashtra, parts of MP, and one district of Rajasthan are falling in this Western Plateau and Hills zone. The average rainfall is 904 millimeters, means a range of 602 to 1040 millimeters annual rainfall. The net sown area 65%, forest occupies 11%, irrigated area is 12.4% through canals being the main source of irrigation. The major crops in this peninsular region are jawar, bajra, cotton, wheat. 10th zone is the southern plateau and hills zone. Here 35 districts of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, which are typically semi-arid zones or semi-arid area. Dryland farming is adopted in 81% of the area. Cropping intensity is 111%, and the rainfall intensity, or you may say the annual rainfall, is 677 to 1000 millimeters. 11th zone is the East Coast Plains and Hills. Here the area that is consisted or it consists of east coast of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Orissa. Soils are mainly alluvial and coastal sands. Irrigated, irrigated, or you may say the irrigation is through canals and tanks, and rainfall 780 to 1287 millimeters annually on an average, and the main crops it is having are rice, groundnut, ragi, jawar, and bajra, and 20% of the total rice production of India is from this zone with 17.5% groundnut prevalence. Then 12th is the west coast plains and ghats. So it comprises of west coast of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Goa. The variety of crop patterns, rainfall, and soil types are observed in this region, and this west coast plains and ghats receive 2,226 to 3,640 millimeters of annual rainfall, and rice, ragi, groundnut, and tapioca, along with the spices and plantation crops, are seen in this agroclimatic zone, west coast plains and ghats. Then the 13th zone is the Gujarat plains and hills zone, wherein it consists of 19 districts of Gujarat, which is arid with low rainfall in most parts, and only 32.5% area is irrigated largely through wells and tube wells. So the annual rainfall that this area does have is 340 to 1793 millimeters, with 32.5% irrigated area that has been told earlier. And the main crops in this region or this area are maize, wheat, rice, groundnut, tobacco, cotton, jawar, bajra. Along with these crops, oilseeds are grown in this area and also called as the oilseed region. The cropping intensity is 114%, and 60% area is drought prone. The next 14th zone, that is the western dry zone. This consists of 9 districts of Rajasthan, characterized by hot, sandy, desert, erratic rainfall, high evaporation, scanty vegetation is seen in this area. Cropping intensity 105%. The rainfall annually is 95 mm, and main crops are bajra, gram, wheat, rapeseed, and the characteristic projects or plannings in this region to enumerate are Indira Gandhi Canal and Drought Development Program DDP. Groundwater is deep and often brackish. Famine and drought are common features of this region. And the last zone, that is the islands region or islands zone, it consists of the island territories of Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, which are typically equatorial with rainfall of 3000 millimeters spread over 8 to 9 months, largely a forest zone with undulated land. The coconut cultivation is seen on this area, and also the, you may say, another main crop is rice. So these are all the 15 agroclimatic zones of India. You may have a quick recap of these: the Western Himalayan zone, Eastern Himalayan zone, Lower Gangetic Plains zone, Middle Gangetic Plains zone, Upper Gangetic Plains zone, Trans-Gangetic Plains zone, Eastern Plateau and Hills zone, Central Plateau and Hills zone, Western Plateau and Hills zone, Southern Plateau and Hills zone, East Coast Plains and Hills zone, Western Coast Plains and Ghats, Gujarat Plains and Hills, Western Dry Zone, and Islands Zone. So all the best.